In this video, we're going to cover how to plot quadratic graphs. For example, in this question here, we're being asked to plot the graph of y equals x squared minus 2x minus 3, and we only have to plot it in this region between where x is minus 2 and where x is 4. Whenever you're asked to plot a graph, you're basically being asked to work out a bunch of points that the curve will pass through, and then join them all up with the curve to figure out where the points are, though it helps to use a table like this. On the top row are all of the x values within the range that we're trying to plot. So in this case, all the whole numbers between minus 2 and positive 4. Then on the bottom row, we can add all of the corresponding y values. For example, when x equals minus 2, we can figure out what y will be by plugging minus 2 into this equation that we were given in the question. So y will be equal to minus 2 squared minus 2 times minus 2 minus 3, which simplifies to 4 plus 4 minus 3, which is 5. So we can put that 5 into the table beneath the minus 2 to show that when x equals minus 2, y is 5. Then you just need to repeat this process over and over again for all of the other values of x until you've completed the entire table. Once you've done that, all that's left is to plot the points that you found and join them all up. So we can plot the first one at minus 2, 5, then the second at minus 1, 0, then 0, minus 3, 1, minus 4, 2, minus 3, 3, 0, and finally 4, 5, and then you can join them all up with a smooth curve. The fact that your curve is smooth is actually really important. If you instead were to use straight lines like this, then you wouldn't get the marks. Another important point is that whenever you do these questions, it's always good to check if your graph looks right. For example, if one of our coordinates had been over here, then when you joined all of your points up, you'd get this little bump in your line, which is obviously wrong. And so you'll know that you need to double check your workings for this point. Let's now have a go at a real exam question. Give the video a pause if you want to have a try. So basically, this question has been split up into 3 parts. In the first part, we need to use the equation to complete the table, which they've already started for us. Then for part B, we have to draw the graph, which we can do by plotting all of the points and then joining them all up. And finally, for Part C, we need to use the graph to find an estimate for the minimum value of y, which we haven't covered yet. That is just the lowest point on the graph. So starting with part of the first thing we need to do is find out what y will be when x is minus 1. So we just plug minus 1 into the equation, which gives us y equals minus 1 squared minus 3 times minus 1 plus 1, which means that y equals 5. Then we need to do the same thing for when x equals 2. So y will equal 2 squared minus 3 times 2 plus 1, which is minus 1 this time. Now that we've completed the table, we can move on to part B. Before we can actually draw a graph, though, we need to plot all of our points. So minus 2, 11, minus 1, 5, 0, 1, 1, minus 1, 2, minus 1, 3, 1, and 4, 5. And then we can join them all up with a nice smooth curve. The last thing we need to do for this question is estimate the minimum value of y. If you look at our curve, you can see that the lowest point that the curve gets to is down here. So to find the minimum value of y, we just need to find out what the y value of this point is. So using a ruler, we can draw a line over to the y-axis, and we can see that the y value is somewhere between minus 1 and minus 2, and the question says we only have to estimate. So we might estimate something like minus 1.25. So we put y equals minus 1.25 as our answer. And that's it. We're all done anyway. That's everything for this video. So if you found it useful, then please do tell your friends and your teachers about us. And thanks for watching.